trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,111. Antiwar.com reports South Korea has turned off its propaganda loudspeakers as a gesture of goodwill ahead of Friday's summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This is the first time in over 2 years that South Korea has shut off the loudspeakers aimed at North Korea. South Korea's giant wall of speakers broadcast news reports boasting of their prosperity, aiming it at both North Korean border troops and villages near the border. They occasionally play music or radio dramas, though the main point is to demoralize the other side. A spokesman told reporters the move was intended to ease military tensions ahead of Friday's summit and also to set a new tone. South Korean officials would not say if the loudspeakers would remain off after the summit. The expectation, though, was that the summit will include more discussions of a peace treaty, formally ending the Korean War, which is still officially ongoing since 1950. If a peace deal happens, there would clearly be no need to broadcast such messages across the border any longer. North Korea has its own loudspeakers on the other side of the border, mostly broadcasting criticism of South Korea. North Korea has not commented on what will happen with their loudspeakers. Indeed, given how much North Korea has toned down all other rhetoric, it is unclear at this point what those speakers have even been broadcasting. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that foreign corporations cannot be sued in U.S. courts for violation of international law. The 5-4 ruling is a loss for about 6,000 foreign victims of terrorist attacks in Israel and Gaza who accused Jordan-based Arab Bank of using its New York branch to distribute millions of dollars to terrorists and their families. While many victims had wanted to sue the bank in U.S. court, the Supreme Court on Tuesday disagreed with the legality of the prospect. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote in the court's lead opinion, "Courts are not well suited to make the required policy judgments that are implicated by corporate liability in cases like this one." Justice Sonia Sotomayor, writing for the dissenting group, argued that the ruling let companies benefit from their corporate status without having to shoulder fundamental responsibilities. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports monkeys lack standing to sue for copyright protection, and an animal rights group cannot act as legal guardians in such a matter, according to a U.S. appeals court ruling on Monday in a battle over ownership of a smiling selfie taken by an endangered macaw. The dispute stemmed from a famous image that Naruto, a rare crested macaw who lives in a nature reserve, snapped using a camera that British photographer David Slater left mounted and unattended during a 2011 trip. His grinning visage, which Slater published in a wildlife book, went viral and triggered the long-running legal battle over who had the copyright. The judges of the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals based in San Francisco said the panel held that the monkey lacks statutory standing because the Copyright Act does not expressly authorize animals to file copyright infringement suits. The court's opinion added that PETA was not a next friend of the monkey in a legal sense and failed to establish that it had a significant relationship with him. Jeff Kerr, general counsel for PETA, said in a statement, denying Naruto the right to sue under U.S. Copyright Act emphasizes that he is discriminated against simply because he's a non-human animal. PETA had argued that the monkey was the legal owner of all the photos he took, but a federal judge in San Francisco ruled in January 2016 that copyright laws do not apply to animals. Slater announced that he would donate 25% of future revenues from the photograph to charitable groups that protect Naruto and other members of his species in Indonesia. The case was brought in a U.S. court because Slater's book was available for sale in the United States. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The military's newly developed unmanned Pentagon spokes drone completed its first live mission today, successfully carrying out a press conference on the war in Iraq. The Mobile Press Engagement Unit is being hailed by Pentagon officials as a revolutionary advancement in protecting military personnel.
The spokes drone proved effective at neutralizing reporters' questions about 85% of the time.
Many officials say the unit has the potential to save countless careers. Using a high-tech gimbal camera and microphone system, the unit tracks reporters' movements and audio output, then analyzes the data to assess the threat level.
It formulates and deploys an effectively vague response.
We have taken away a number of the enemy sanctuaries and gained initiatives in the areas. Eileen.
Military technology experts see the unit as adaptable to a wide variety of treacherous interview scenarios. They estimated it could even withstand situations too hostile for any human spokesman to bear, such as anti-war documentary interviews.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Already on the air. What's up, guys? It's time for the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It is, it's a rainy day, but it's still around 60. We've got with us today Miss Aria DiMezzo from cryptocurrencycheck.org, along with Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method. How you ladies doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing great.
Yay!
Better now that you're here.
I know, right? So, it has been a busy day in the news today. Of course, the first place we're going to start out is the Supreme Court hearings today. The Supreme Court heard arguments from the state and from those working against the Trump administration. I almost said Obama administration. I'm telling you, it's really kind of hard to tell the difference. The Trump administration on the issue of the quote-unquote Muslim ban. So arguments were made today. I listened to the arguments, and it does not sound good for Muslim immigrants. I listened... who's the female justice? Is it Sotomayor?
That sounds about right.
Okay, Sotomayor sounded like she was totally down with the national security argument. All the conservative justices were like, it doesn't...
Oh my God, why didn't we think of this sooner?
Who cares if Trump said that it was a Muslim, that he was going to ban Muslims from migrating to the country? That doesn't mean that this is a Muslim ban.
Oh, solid logic.
So
I love
technicalities.
Yeah. How can we?
So what is their
sure?
ban that own refugees from countries that we're bombing?
Basically,
that just happen to be predominantly Muslim.
It's a ban on refugees from countries that we have no recorded terrorist attacks from people from that country. You know, like Iran, Afghanistan.
Well, I mean, of course.
Now you can still
we don't
come
want
here
the ones
from
who aren't
Saudi.
terrorists.
You can still come here from Saudi. And,
No, of course you can, because they're protected now,
yeah,
right?
and like
So.
rape people in the hotel, but that's cool.
So, Will, what are some of the main things that you heard? Because I didn't listen to the whole thing.
Well, again, the arguments that were being made, basically, and it looks like the...
Did anyone make the argument that the Constitution gives the federal government absolutely no jurisdiction over immigration?
Well, actually, the argument was made that Congress has already passed a law that says that Congress has the authority and the president doesn't, but who cares? This is from Politico, actually, and it says here, frequent swing justice Anthony Kennedy seems to struggle with aspects of this case. The oral argument session offered no clear indication of how the court will rule. Concerns were expressed about second-guessing the president's response to national security threats, but also seemed wary of declaring that a president's statements on the campaign trail can't be used to assess his actions. The directive that went before the justices Wednesday is a version of the one that Trump signed last week. In his, hey, where'd it go? Well, it's gone. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he signed last week. Into his the first week into his presidency, triggering outrage over what critics have decried as a Muslim ban Trump repeatedly promised during his 2016 campaign. Let's see here. Where's the stuff on the justices? Those statements should be out of bounds. Francisco, Solicitor General defending Trump's policy, Noel Francisco. Kennedy seems skeptical, though. Suppose you have a local mayor, and as a candidate, he makes vituperative, hateful statements. He's elected, and on day 2, he takes acts that are consistent with those hateful statements. What he said in the campaign is that now irrelevant? This is not a so-called...
Well, 99% of the time it is. Whatever, a politician promises while they're campaigning bears very little resemblance to what they actually do once they're in office. But if the intention behind all of his banning was stated to be, to keep all of the Muslims out, then it stands to reason that when he starts banning immigration, when he starts fulfilling those acts, then he's doing it for the reasons that he gave.
Well, says the Francisco, insisting that current travel ban policy is not a follow-up to anything that Trump said about Muslims during the campaign, said, quote, "This is not a so-called Muslim ban. If it were, it would be the most ineffective Muslim ban that one could possibly imagine," Francisco said, noting that it currently applies to only a handful of Muslim-majority countries and that several have been dropped.
But does it apply to any non-Muslim majority countries?
No.
Or very many of right?
No.
So
most of the Republican-appointed justices seemed inclined to allow Trump's order to stand, of course. But here's the troubling part, because we're supposed to hear about how the Democrats are just so progressive and pro-immigration. They're divided into 2 distinct camps, with Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan seeming to seek some kind of middle ground, while Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sonia Sotomayor appeared, no, she did not. She was pushing. Sotomayor was ringing, because I listened to Sotomayor was ringing the national security bell. So I don't understand why this author thinks that she's somehow against this ban, because she was her statements were the first statements that sounded extremely pro that I heard. So I don't understand what this guy's talking about. Chief Justice John Roberts asked how long Trump or any president should be saddled with legal responsibility for his campaign era comments.
Well, forever? I mean,
is there a statute of limitations on what he said? Roberts asked.
That is just nonsense.
No, doesn't work that way. Sorry.
No, it's as long as Americans remember. So you just have to get us to all forget what he said.
Yeah.
And then it's over, right? Then we just don't know anymore.
See, the first version banned people from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. So yeah, all the countries were bombing. The order prompted widespread confusion, particularly over its application to green card holders from those countries. Courts quickly blocked the order's impact on existing visa holders and eventually put the key parts of the travel ban on hold worldwide. Trump appealed the injunction to the Ninth Circuit Court, which refused to revive the policy. The administration chose to redraft the ban rather than appeal, and then shorthanded the Supreme Court. A revised order issued March 2017, deleted Iraq from the banned list, in part due to military and congressional protests, as well as complaints from Iraqi officials about targeting a country key to U.S. efforts to wipe out ISIS. Those who already held visas and people with green cards were explicitly exempted. So now, if you thought that the jawing and the yammering about the ban was bad enough, we've got the last couple minutes of statements from Trump's attorneys, from the state, from the administration, and whether it was purposeful, whether he's just stupid, whether it's the gaffe, whether it's not, whatever it is, it's funny, and he sounds like a dummy. So we're definitely going to play that when we get back here. So stick around for a little bit more.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about the SCOTUS arguments, the Supreme Court and their arguments today on the Muslim ban. And just a little bit of, we did a little bit of reading into...
Well, it's not a Muslim ban. It's a ban of people who use the Quran as a holy book.
Right. Now, this was a pretty funny thing, the way this played out. And again, I'm going to post, if you're in the Discord chat, we're going to post a link so that you can listen to the entire hour of arguments if you'd like. We'll also try to get it over to Tom so we can post it on our Twitter page. There was a little burst of laughter in the midst of all of it. And when I tell you why, as a listener of the show, if you've heard about some of the things that we've talked about here, you won't be particularly surprised at the fact that the reaction to this question was laughter. Says here, during the arguments, Kagan questioned Francisco, the attorney for Trump, about a hypothetical president who makes openly anti-Semitic remarks and whether that president would be able to bar people from Israel from entering the U.S. This is an out-of-the-box kind of president in my hypothetical, she says, to some chuckling in the usually stoic courtroom. And who knows what his heart of hearts is? Francisco suggested that an avowedly anti-Semitic president could issue an order banning travel from Israel as long as the president's advisors came up with a legitimate reason for it.
So what's their legitimate reason for banning Muslims?
Yeah, brown people are a threat to national security.
But did they actually come up with one?
Well, being as no country on the ban list has ever had a person who committed a terrorist attack, either successful or otherwise, came from any of the countries on the list.
So
now, we have been bombed by terrorists on behalf of the suffering of people in those countries, but one of them was a guy from Nigeria the underwear bomber guy. He was from Nigeria, but he said I do this for the suffering children in Yemen. No Yemeni has ever actually done it, but a Nigerian who saw Yemen children dying on television because of American bombs, that inspired him. And then there was another, I think it's Afghanistan or Pakistan, one or the other, where the New York Times, the Times Square bomber, said that his bomb was put out because of that terror, because of those terrorist attacks. I mean, American drone bombings. So, but I find it funny that when Elena Kagan says an openly anti-Semitic president gets elected, and everybody laughs because it's pretty well known. You can't be openly anti-Semitic and get elected.
Oh, yeah.
You can totally be Muzzies are the devil, and you're going to poll in first place and take the GOP nomination and win the White House. But, and she was and he would stop people from coming here from Israel. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
You don't get to be president unless you kiss the ring. And
awesome.
Had it not been for the fact that Trump kissed the ring early on, he wouldn't be president now.
It's kind of messed up that they all just laughed and chuckled so casually about
that could ever happen. You can only hate Muslims and get elected, and gays. If you hate Muslims and gays, you can get elected.
True.
Mexicans, hate them all you want. Black people, Jews, no. You could beat up a transgender person in the middle of Times Square and probably still get elected. But if you say, I'm a representative of America before I'm a representative of Israel, then you're not getting elected. You're just not. I hate to tell you. Anyway, I got a clip here. It's about a minute long, and it's the closing remarks of the attorney for the president and his administration, telling us, just how well informed they are to be making these arguments in the first place.
To people who aren't allowed to enter. But we wouldn't have to allow anyone to enter, and we wouldn't have to issue any non-immigrant visas. So the bottom line is I think they're simply wrong on that case, on that issue. My final point has to do with my brother's recognition that if the president were to say tomorrow that he was sorry, all of this would go away. Well, the president has made crystal clear on September 25th that he had no intention of imposing the Muslim ban. He has made crystal clear that Muslims in this country are great Americans, and there are many, many Muslim countries who love this country, and he has praised Islam as one of the great countries of the world. This proclamation is about what it says. I didn't know
Islam was a country.
Foreign policy and national security.
I'm going there on vacation this summer.
To Islam?
Yeah.
Let me know what the weather's like.
Nope.
Nobody called that out
No.
in the thing. Say, hey, you're babbling nonsense.
I wish there was video. I tried to find some video because I want to see if all the justices on the bench all looked at each other simultaneously. Like, did this fool just say what I think he just said? Did this stupid SOB really? Did he just say that?
I had to agree. As far as nations go, Islam is definitely a great nation. In the sense that it's not a nation, and
right.
States suck.
Right.
So one that doesn't exist is doing pretty good.
Well, the closest you can come to that is the Nation of Islam, and that's an African American separatist group. They're created here by Americans. Elijah Muhammad is from America. And
if you listen to their interpretation, isn't that essentially what ISIS is attempting to do?
No, it's more like what the left is attempting to do. It's very, very, very like people of color are gods on earth, and people who are Caucasians are Satan. Elijah Muhammad is from Sandersville, Georgia. He died in Chicago, Illinois. So there you go. There's your American invention right there.
There's your Nation of Islam.
Yeah, there's your Nation of Islam right there, invented in America. A heretical sect invented in the U.S.
Don't tell Trump.
Oh my gosh, he might deport America out of America.
All right, well, I need to go. I'm going to Islam this summer, so I need to go and apply for a visa to.
Is that after or before you buy the tickets to the war with Iran?
I'm buying tickets to war with Iran in just a little while.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
Marriage should be handled either by religious institutions or the couple's friends. If everybody wants to say that two individuals are married and they live as a married couple, they don't need any piece of paper from anybody. And I'll even go one step further. If 17 people decide that they want to be in one big giant marriage, I don't care. As long as they're all consenting to it, it doesn't harm anybody. It should not be illegal. There shouldn't be laws prohibiting that. So Rand Paul to say that, if we allow gay marriage, we have to allow polygamy. What is the effing problem with polygamy? Historically, polygamy has always been accepted.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And you know what? It is a wonderful little crypto community here. I just got through eating, I know this sounds crazy, chicken tenders breaded in seasoned, crushed Captain Crunch. Not even kidding a little bit.
So you're a 4-year-old.
I know, right?
Okay,
but there's this place here. It's called Local Burger. And it's one of the many cryptocurrency accepting businesses in the area. And I stopped there for lunch on the way to work today. And they have this, one of their specialties is this this batter that they make that's made with crushed Captain Crunch. It's really good. I mean, buffalo chicken strips, right? With Captain Crunch batter. It's epic. It sounds weird.
Yeah, it sounds real weird.
But, you know.
I would try it, though.
It is. It's good. I was able to get it with Dash. That's right. I use Dash because I live here in Keene in our wonderful little crypto community here. Another one of our little parts of our little crypto community here was just showcased in news.bitcoin.com, the Portsmouth Bitcoin Village, which is another little crypto community right here in New Hampshire. Noticing a trend here. You can come up here and do a little bit of crypto tourism if you'd like. It's a great opportunity coming up to do so in a few months. It's called Forkfest. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, activists, and libertarians this summer from June the 14th through June the 18th for Forkfest 2018 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest is a fork of other camping parties in the woods, and you're invited to come and create whatever experience you'd like to see others have. Forkfest is completely decentralized, and what that means is, well, nobody's in charge, so everyone's in charge. It's up to you to create what happens. Or, you can simply come out, relax, and kick back in a lawn chair with a cooler and go camping with a lot of other liberty lovers. Go over to forkfest.party to learn more. You can also join our forum or the Telegram chat group there. Again, that's forkfest.party. So we were talking about this the Trump ban, and we listened to the last minute of the closing the closing arguments, and that last few seconds, Chelsea, I think you would agree with me, is really kind of just it's like the grand example of everything that's going on with the Trump administration, particularly with this ban.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Wait, remind me what he said specifically. He said Nation of Islam. That's what he said.
No, the country. That
the country of
Islam is one of the most beautiful countries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The problem is the video thing here on the what do you call it? The website for the government. The little bitty cursor that they have is so small. Oh, there we go. I think I got it.
It's hard to drag to the right
time. It has to do with my brother's
this is at last few seconds again.
That if the president were to say tomorrow that he was sorry.
See, because that's what it's about. It's about saying he's sorry. He hurt somebody's feelings. We're not the 4 lower courts have struck this down because of somebody's hurt feelings. That's what it's about. Totally.
I mean, that's not terribly unlikely to happen. I mean, it's not what's happening here, but hurt feelings, they really count for a lot in today's America.
They do. Good God. Well, what do you expect from the everybody gets a trophy? You know what? I have boys. All of you guys know I have kids. And people are probably going to call and tell me what a horrible parent I am after I say this on the air. But my son, Shuaib, played soccer. Right? And during his time playing soccer, I would go and watch the game, and my son would touch the ball maybe once a game. And if he did, it was for a free kick. Because while the game was going on, he would be running around in the backfield chasing bugs and butterflies and looking at the clouds and sitting in the grass, playing with things. Everything except for playing soccer. And at the end of the season, he got a participation trophy. Well, guess what Dad told him about his participation trophy?
Oh, no.
That the only reason we were going so that he could pick it up was because his grandmother had paid for the soccer thing, and I didn't want her to miss out on it because she's grandma and she's old, and that was it. That was the only reason we were even going to the ceremony, for him to get the trophy. that trophies were earned because of things that you do, and that he hadn't earned a trophy. And I explained to him what he had done instead of playing and earning a trophy. Because kids need to know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's totally fine, right? Like, if a kid just wants to, like, play with bugs, that's fine. He doesn't have to play soccer. But then to give him a trophy for playing soccer doesn't make any sense. Give him a trophy for playing with bugs for all I care. It doesn't make any difference. But don't give people, like, trophies for things that they didn't do, things that they didn't achieve, things that they didn't earn, right? And so, if you're a kid and you want to play with bugs, you don't want to play with soccer, fine. Like, doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I don't care that he didn't want to play soccer. I didn't tell him he had to play. He wanted to do it. I said, I don't think you're really old enough to be doing that kind of thing yet. I knew he was going to play with bugs instead of playing with the ball. That's what it was.
How old is he?
He was like 4 or 5, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty young.
And I was like, he's going to play with bugs instead of doing what he's supposed to. And my mom was like, he wants to do it, blah, blah, blah. He saw the sign, da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, but just because he saw the sign and says he wants it doesn't mean he has to have, like, there's no law that says, like, I want that. And then my immediate reaction has to be, yes, sir, man. What else would you like? That's not the way life works. And, after he got the trophy, after I explained it, now my mom's mad at me. It's like, how dare you? You crushed that little child's dreams. Like,
aw, that's okay. He's fine.
What? I told him he didn't deserve a trophy because he didn't play the game. Well, there was no need in doing that.
But if he would just say sorry, maybe we could get some legislation passed.
Yeah. Maybe if he would just say sorry, then we wouldn't have to be all the way at the Supreme Court trying to undo a ban that is, an overstep of presidential authority, to say the least.
All of this would go away. Well, the president has made crystal clear on September 25th that he had no intention of imposing the Muslim ban. He has made crystal clear that Muslims in this...
Okay, so... he made crystal clear that he has no intention of imposing this ban by wasting millions of taxpayer dollars on a Supreme Court hearing wait, what?
Right.
That's
almost as dumb as the next statement.
This country are great Americans, and there are many, many Muslim countries who love this country, and he has praised Islam as one of the great countries of the world. This proclamation is about what it says it's about: foreign policy and national security, and we would ask that you reverse the court below.
Thank you, counsel. The case is submitted.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No-Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.fm पे।
Right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we've been talking about the SCOTUS decision that has yet to come out today. The arguments, 1 hour of set of arguments were put in. Basically, people saying Trump says that he's going to use executive power to keep people of a certain religion out of the country. If elected. He gets elected, and within the first week of his presidency, he enacts a ban on 8 Muslim countries, none of which has a in the name of national security and protecting against terrorism. None of the countries that actual terrorists who have had successful or unsuccessful attacks on the United States of America are on the list. None of those countries. Instead, it's 8 countries that no terrorist on record having attacked or attempted to attack the United States of America has come from. It is, however, oddly enough, countries that we are actively engaged in the military subjugation of, or we're saber-rattling as though we will be soon. Countries
in our war that we're not in.
In the wars, yeah, in the wars that we're not actually in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking of... Oh, go ahead, Arya.
But we are not at war with the country of Islam.
maybe we should be. Then it'll solve all of our problems.
Well, no, see, that's why it's not a Muslim ban, because Muslims can still come here from this non-existent country of Islam, just not the ones that actually exist.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm thinking, like we've talked a lot about this, like fear mongering basically in politics. And I think that you can see that here, but you also see this like heavy guilt tripping aspect, right? And all the feels. And those are the two biggest things in our political sort of rhetoric right now. And I'm curious if, like, do you guys think that it's necessary to have the fear mongering and to have something to be afraid of in order to enforce that guilt? Because it does seem like in order for us to like care about these certain minority groups that they've picked out, we have to also be able to sort of like have an outlet for all of our hatred of minorities or something, and so it's like, okay, you can hate these minorities, but then you have to feel bad for these other ones. And then those two categories seem to like shift over time. But do you think that it's like necessary to have both categories?
I don't know.
I think you have a good point, and that the type of person who has one of those categories has some other group that they hate as equally as they pity the other group. It's not necessarily minorities, as Will was talking about. The average liberal hates white men, and they're not really a minority, but they are hated with exactly the same ferocity with which they pity the minorities.
Like legit, if there were a white men ban, that would pass in like a minute. It would be
well,
all
now you
in
did
favor.
hear the courts did say that the lady who made the really unnecessary comment. That's how that. Remember the video I sent you guys yesterday of that
The
crazy
inappropriate one?
liberal teacher who was like, "I just hate me the white male patriarchy, but I just love sucking on white willies." That one.
Oh yes, more willies. Yeah,
and
totally.
she but like I can't play the video on the air because the lady drops an F-bomb like every 30 seconds. But in the midst
Wait,
of all
did you say
of,
she was a school teacher?
she's a school teacher. In the midst of all of that, the reason she's in the news is because when Barbara Bush
Did she get fired the
No.
same way that so many of the other
seriously?
teachers had been fired?
she did, but they gave her job back.
Oh, Barb.
Well, because it was just white men she was insulting.
Well, no, she said that it was something about Barbara Bush dying. And she was like, good, serves the bitch right, or something like that. And people were like, that's really low class. And then all these videos of her like, she literally advocates violence. People should bust windows in, throw hand grenades in people's windows. That's not going to get her fired for that. Like, that wasn't what people were outraged about.
Where is she a school teacher? Where is this woman from?
Let's see here. Let me see. Barbara Bush. Fresno State. She will not be reprimanded for her tweets.
At a university.
Yes. Fresno State professor made national headlines by calling former First Lady Barbara Bush an amazing racist and will not be punished for her comments, the university said. Yeah, but that's not the only thing that she said. Like, where is the actual tweet? Because it was way more. Barbara Bush gave birth to racists or something like that. But she's one of those like, I hate the white male heteropatriarchy. One of those types. And she doesn't know how to speak publicly without dropping the F-bomb about a half a dozen times. And then on top of that, as she's, sitting in a classroom setting, like I don't have the cleanest of language, but if I'm sitting in a classroom, I'm not dropping the F-bomb every 30 seconds. And then telling people that you should bust the windows in and lob hand grenades through the windows of people that I disagree with.
And everybody thinks that convincing all people in this country to go through higher education is a good idea. If this doesn't dissuade you, I really don't know what will.
Oh, I ask Muslim families all the time, is this what you were expecting when you came to America, that you would come here, you would spend all of this money and time, is putting your kids through private Islamic schools, and then after 3 years of college, they'd come home with a nipple ring and
no way.
and
I know.
like shaved heads, talking about the white male heteropatriarchy and
I work
how
with a lot
the
of
imams aren't woke and all
Oh
this.
gosh.
I mean, you've got the founder of the first Islamic university in the U.S., right? And he gave a sermon about the fact that this popular Muslim female voice said the prophet Ibrahim, that's Abraham from the Bible, by the way, is a deadbeat dad.
What?
And
well, I would kind of agree.
Well, maybe according to the Jewish tradition, but not according to the Islamic tradition. And this is something it's not appropriate according to Muslims. You know, according to Muslims, you don't slander the prophets. And it's just something that's not done. It's not the correct etiquette. Adab is the word. And this woman is celebrated. You know, she's a hero because she's woke. And he was like, look, putting these people on a pedestal is like if it's about the religion, then putting these people on a pedestal who do these provocative things that are completely in contention with our religion in order to seem woke to the left, then we have to admit that it's about seeming woke to the left. It's not about preserving or defending our traditions. And he was silenced in a day. Like, take the videos down, don't say nothing else. So
he was criticized for not virtue signaling.
Yeah, basically he says, look, man, this lady out here, she's out here virtue signaling, trying to get the left to look at her and be like, oh, look how woke she is. If that's the real goal, then let's say that's the real goal. And for that, he was shamed and shunned and silenced. But you can be this lady and you can drop multiple F-bombs as you are threatening actual violence and encouraging students to bust out windows and put hand grenades through people's windows. You ain't gonna lose your job for that. And as a matter of fact, there's not even gonna be any outrage over that. We're gonna get outraged because you said Barbara Bush gave birth to racists, not because you said to kick somebody's window in and drop a hand grenade through it.
What is any of the rest of it? My gosh.
I mean, I'm serious. I wish I could play the video.
I'm pretty sure at
you
least
guys.
one of those steps isn't necessary.
For real. I wish I could play the video for you guys. Damned FCC and what is it? iHeartRadio and all their
We could put it
family
in Discord,
friendliness.
right? Or no?
No. I'd have to hit the dump button so many times you wouldn't be able to hear the show. Anyway,
no, I meant in the chat, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I've already played it for you guys. I mean, posted it for you in the chat. Anyway, we'll be back in just a little while with Crypto Hour. It would seem that Ethereum, well, there's a big old fight going on, and it's going to cause another split. We'll get into it when we get back.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,320 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,111. Antiwar.com reports South Korea has turned off its propaganda loudspeakers as a gesture of goodwill ahead of Friday's summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This is the first time in over 2 years that South Korea has shut off the loudspeakers aimed at North Korea. South Korea's giant wall of speakers broadcast news reports boasting of their prosperity, aiming it at both North Korean border troops and villages near the border. They occasionally play music or radio dramas, though the main point is to demoralize the other side. A spokesman told reporters the move was intended to ease military tensions ahead of Friday's summit and also to set a new tone. South Korean officials would not say if the loudspeakers would remain off after the summit. The expectation, though, was that the summit will include more discussions of a peace treaty, formally ending the Korean War, which is still officially ongoing since 1950. If a peace deal happens, there would clearly be no need to broadcast such messages across the border any longer. North Korea has its own loudspeakers on the other side of the border, mostly broadcasting criticism of South Korea. North Korea has not commented on what will happen with their loudspeakers. Indeed, given how much North Korea has toned down all other rhetoric, it is unclear at this point what those speakers have even been broadcasting. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that foreign corporations cannot be sued in U.S. courts for violation of international law. The 5-4 ruling is a loss for about 6,000 foreign victims of terrorist attacks in Israel and Gaza who accused Jordan-based Arab Bank of using its New York branch to distribute millions of dollars to terrorists and their families. While many victims had wanted to sue the bank in U.S. court, the Supreme Court on Tuesday disagreed with the legality of the prospect. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote in the court's lead opinion, "Courts are not well suited to make the required policy judgments that are implicated by corporate liability in cases like this one." Justice Sonia Sotomayor, writing for the dissenting group, argued that the ruling let companies benefit from their corporate status without having to shoulder fundamental responsibilities. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports monkeys lack standing to sue for copyright protection, and an animal rights group cannot act as legal guardians in such a matter, according to a U.S. appeals court ruling on Monday in a battle over ownership of a smiling selfie taken by an endangered macaw. The dispute stemmed from a famous image that Naruto, a rare crested macaw who lives in a nature reserve, snapped using a camera that British photographer David Slater left mounted and unattended during a 2011 trip. His grinning visage, which Slater published in a wildlife book, went viral and and triggered the long-running legal battle over who had the copyright. The judges of the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals based in San Francisco said the panel held that the monkey lacks statutory standing because the Copyright Act does not expressly authorize animals to file copyright infringement suits. The court's opinion added that PETA was not a next friend of the monkey in a legal sense and failed to establish that it had a significant relationship with him. Jeff Kerr, general counsel for PETA, said in a statement, denying Naruto the right to sue under U.S. Copyright Act emphasizes that he is discriminated against simply because he's a non-human animal. PETA had argued that the monkey was the legal owner of all the photos he took, but a federal judge in San Francisco ruled in January 2016 that copyright laws do not apply to animals. Slater announced that he would donate 25% of future revenues from the photograph to charitable groups that protect Naruto and other members of his species in Indonesia. The case was brought in a U.S. court because Slater's book was available for sale in the United States. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
According to members of the 1998 University of Virginia graduating class, Governor Jim Gilmore's commencement speech to them continues to be a deep well of wisdom and guidance even 15 years after it was delivered. Classmates confirmed that while friends at other universities heard from such figures as Jimmy Carter, Kurt Vonnegut, and the Dalai Lama, the inspirational words of Virginia's 68th governor continues to profoundly inform their lives and actions.
Whenever I face a dark moment in my life, I just think back to Governor Gilmore's speech, and it almost instantly puts things back into perspective. It's like he said, go forward and be successful and achieve your hopes and dreams and aspirations. All I can say is I hope I've lived up to that incredible lesson.
And in local news, a 5-year-old figures he has about a year left of peeing at urinals with his pants all the way down.
In other news, using the amount of toothpaste shown in commercials is a disgusting experience. A grizzled proofreader has seen it written both ways, and a cackling Warren Buffett burns his entire fortune in front of the nation.
This is the Onion News Network. The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. On the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time here for the Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon drive home. And, well, we've got a couple good stories coming for you. I was watching online, man. I've been spending a little bit of time on Twitter and, just watching the crypto space because, if you're in crypto, there are 3 places you watch. There's Twitch, there's Telegram, there's Discord, and there's the Twitterverse. And that's the 3 places that you really just, you got to be in and know what's going on. And CoinDesk reported on basically a member of the Ethereum team saying something to them about a possible split and some stuff. And it was like a 3-page apology. A 3-tweet long apology for even mentioning it. And then we've also got Bill Harris, the former CEO of both PayPal and Intuit, weighing in with his opinion on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But the first story we're going to cover is this one about Ethereum. Again, this is coming from CoinDesk. Ethereum infighting spurs blockchain split concerns. Now, again, we're back to, as I was saying before, this article now, the new version now starts out. Since publication, major Ethereum community members have expressed an interest in working to find solutions that would avoid an inability to reach consensus. These include the principal players, Parity Tech, and the community members, Golem Project, and the developer, Peter Zelingi. Whose statements are linked. So because of the fact that these 3 people and their friends with that are Ethereum supporters had an absolute fit on Twitter. That now has to be at the top of the article. It says here, Ethereum appears to be at a notable crossroads on technical directions. At least that was the mood at a meeting of top Ethereum developers late last week, where a discussion on a controversial code proposal called EIP 999 led some to speculate the scenario is now a possibility. Indeed, it's now believed the proposal, which would seek to fix a technical fix that would return $264 million worth of Ethereum in lost funds, is so contentious that some users may choose to defect to a new version of the code. And what we have here, based already on online Twitterverse reactions, is a Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash level split here. I mean, we've got people that are pretty...
Well, that already happened.
It did.
I mean, it did, and it's Ethereum and Ethereum Classic.
Yeah.
They've already made Ethereum has already made their choice.
Nobody cares about Ethereum Classic, though. I mean, really.
Well, I mean,
it's like VPN
people who care about principle do.
It's like VPN coin, you know? It just...
And people who care about principle do.
Well, now you've got another split, though, and it's, I believe, basically over the same issue.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Ethereum is going to retcon the blockchain, and it's again going to make people unhappy. But the programmers and coders and project leaders still sticking with Ethereum, they did so through the last retcon of the blockchain, and they'll stick with it through this one.
It says here, those in favor of the proposal point to the frequent losses of Ether due to buggy contracts and arguing that the platform should ensure against avoidable mistakes. On the other side, however, many warn that editing code after deployment could damage not only the security, also the integrity of the platform.
I think that's an important statement that requires them to take it more seriously, because what drives a currency is faith in that currency. And if a currency is constantly not fulfilling its promises and constantly not doing what it's supposed to do, yeah, it undermines the faith in that currency, and people stop using it.
Yeah, not getting the Wraith protocols out on time, and then after releasing them late, releasing them buggy, is the reason why Verge went from 26 cents to 13 cents before the real crash in crypto. Before the major crash, I was buying Verge at 11 cents. Down from 26. Why?
Don't talk to me about Verge.
Right. Why? Because of what you just said. Promises made, promises not kept. Loss of faith in the development team because they made promises and for dates that could not be met. And then when they did meet the requirements, they didn't do it well. Because of that, people lost faith. I just had a conversation with a guy earlier about, he was like, "You're still holding Verge?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still holding it." And he was like, "Man, I got out of that. As soon as the Wraith protocol came out and I saw the bugs, I just sold. I was done."
I'm happy for him, but it's so hard to get out of it.
It's not on Changelly anymore. I tried to shapeshift some today so that I could, just because I wanted to get it out of that while it was still up around 6 or 7 cents. I had some other stuff I wanted to move it into because I wanted to make some purchases at a place that didn't accept Verge. So I wanted to Changelly some of it over into Dash and a Digibyte so that I could use it at these other businesses. And found out that you can't do it on Changelly anymore. And now basically I'm going to have to load it onto an exchange, flip it over into something else, then put it back in my wallet. And it's such a hassle.
I'm just going to use mine on Pornhub, making photos to get me banned from Facebook.
Whoop, whoop. So what's going on with that? Are you working on the appeals process now? So just to update folks, if you don't know, yesterday, while we were on the air, we tried to see, well, we didn't. Aria tried to see if she could follow the letter of the rule in Facebook's now 27-page recently released censorship guideline. She followed the exact letter of the, like literal letter of the rule, and tried to make some posts to see if she could how quickly she could get herself kicked off of Facebook. We did it in what, 1 or 2 segments?
Yeah, I think it was 2 segments.
Yeah, so about 30 minutes. She was able to get herself not only banned from Facebook, but to get Facebook's censorship team to start going through all of her posts all the way back to the beginning of her having a Facebook account.
And banning me from Messenger.
Yeah, she's not just banned from Facebook, she's banned from Messenger, she's banned from Facebook. I still say 3 days.
They were not amused.
3 days is like, that's low level.
Oh, no doubt. But we'll come up with a new idea, and when I'm back, we will.
As soon as you get back,
make it 7 days.
It would have been. See, the problem with your prostate exam picture is that girls don't have prostates.
Yeah, but you can't tell that that's a girl getting the exam.
If it had been a much hairier girl, I think you might have been able to get away with it. So you got to get like a
I don't know that I would have wanted to use a hairier girl.
Get a shot from like a oh god, what are they? Falcon. Get a falcon video, a bear's falcon video.
I'm gonna have to Google that at some point.
They used to come to this bar that I worked at when I was a DJ down in St. Pete. They call them the Falcon Boys, and they would send them and they would promote. This was back when the internet was first getting started. It's like 2001. And so they would come and promote and try to get guys to buy DVDs, Falcon DVD.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveAtPurse.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है helium.com.
Welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about the upcoming Ethereum split. You've got supporters of EIP 999 on one side, and those who don't want to jockey with current code, creating a backdoor to, well, recover $264 million at the moment in lost funds.
Well, I mean, the idea of forking the blockchain is a lot like the idea of having a gold-backed currency and going to redeem it at the bank for gold, and having them say, no, you know what? We don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, here, have a quart
We changed our
of oil.
minds.
Here, have a quart of oil for your dollar instead of gold. Yeah, we know we didn't tell you, but oh well. Anyway,
because, I mean, the reliability and the sovereignty, I guess is the word I would want to use, of the blockchain is the only credibility that any cryptocurrency has. It's the only thing that it can even point to say, hey, look, we exist, we're stable, and we're reliable. Constantly going back and tweaking that blockchain.
Well, I mean, I understand.
It's like having a run on your bank.
Adding security features, making it to where transactions are faster, or those kinds of things make sense. But going in and saying, you know what? One of the beautiful things about the blockchain and about cryptocurrencies is that there's no backdoor. We're going to make a backdoor. That's the problem, is deciding that, well, we're just going to take this thing that people are already happy with the way that it is, and we're going to write a backdoor. Now, let's see here, Alex Van de Sand says, it's clear, no matter where you stand on the issue, that that the issue is contentious enough that if EIP 999 goes forward and implements, well, then it will generate a contentious hard fork. It's unavoidable that it will create a split. Still, it's important to note that the size and influence of its backers, spearheading the code changes, for instance, is Parity Technology, the Ethereum software company behind the wallet that was impacted by the fund freeze. Founded by Ethereum co-founder,
I bet they are. I mean, they're the ones who screwed up.
Dr. Gavin Wood in 2015, Parity is the second most popular Ethereum software, used by almost 1/3 of the network. Speaking at the meeting, two representatives from Parity, a communications officer, Afri Shoden, and co-founder and CEO of the company, Jutta Steiner, urged client developers to move forward with versions of the software equipped with the EI 999 change. For me, the most logical step is to just implement EIP 999. I don't see what waiting another 4 weeks to conclude would benefit, Shoden said. Shiner echoed this, emphasizing that implementing the code doesn't necessitate a split. However, there was notable disagreement on the assertion. Peter Zilaj, the lead developer of Geth. There we go. Peter, the lead developer of Geth, the Ethereum Foundation-led Ethereum software which serves the majority of users, disagreed, stating that if the code is made available, it's likely to create a contentious split. He states, "We're talking about exactly the same networks, and we're basically starting a tribalism war. I don't think we're going to reach a consensus." Currently, that seems to be how the battlefield is laid out, Geth versus Parity. And the discussion, while informal, shows Ethereum's two biggest competing softwares are willing to go head-to-head on the issue, a development that could prove notable moving forward. Stepping back, though, it's important to understand how Parity and Geth work together. Each software communicates directly with the Ethereum virtual machine, which takes smart contract language and translates it into more general code. But Parity and Geth do so in different computer programming languages. By keeping up with each other's development, both softwares remain in sync and on the same blockchain, not only with each other, but also with Ethereum more broadly. As such, it's critical that Geth and Parity contain the same code. If, for instance, one team implements EI 999 and the other doesn't, well, then the blockchain could fracture into two divergent groups, two different Ethereums. That would make it then three different Ethereums. And just as the developers of the software implementations are split, so are Ethereum users. An Ether vote recently showed that a majority of people were opposed to the code change. But that voting
Good
method...
for them. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, but that voting method has come under much criticism. Other developers...
Because they used glitchy smart contracts to do it. Please say it's because of that.
I think it's because you could vote with the amount of like Satoshis in each one counted as a vote. Self-destructed Parity multi-sig with 306 Ether, 306,000 Ethereum voted yes. Self-destructed Polkadot multisig is the target of the whole EIP 999 mess. You can see that the vote data, that the address votes yes. It's a quirk and a terrible design of this coin vote. The vote is not done by sending a TX like Carbon Vote, but instead just by signing a message. But since a contract can't sign a message, the vote allows the contract creator to sign for it. So here, even though the wallet contract is dead, its creator can vote with all of its Ethereum. Note 2, this is a multi-sig contract. So normally accessing its Ethereum requires the multiple signatures. Yet this vote only requires the vote of the creator, which may not even be on the multi-sig. This makes no sense. Contracts are often held by business or games, and their Ethereum is not at the whim of their creators once deployed. So basically, just like you said, glitchy ass smart contracts.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh, it's poetic.
Only Ethereum could manage that.
We're going to have a vote on whether or not we should implement this policy that we already know a majority of people don't support. We're going to use these glitchy contracts that cause the problem that we're voting on whether or not we want to write new software for in the first place. Oh my God. It's like the whole thing that we were just listening to in the first segment with the Trump lawyer talking about like the country of Islam. This is a country of Islam moment right here. We're going to vote.
Yes, it is.
We're going to vote on whether to fix glitchy-ass contracts with a glitchy-ass contract. All right, we'll be back here in just a moment on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Friends of local man Carl Brewster told reporters this week they are all absolutely at a loss as to how he is not completely depressed.
I've known Carl for years now, and he really is a great guy, super nice. But honestly, I don't know how he doesn't go home and cry himself to sleep every night. I mean, walks dogs for a living, and no one will ever date him. I really don't get it.
Saying that they were baffled at how their close friend managed to remain even moderately happy day in and day out given his life circumstances, sources confirmed they were regularly confronted with Carl's perplexingly gregarious and affable demeanor.
I mean, Carl's life really, really sucks, but somehow he manages to wave good morning to me every time I see him, and he always has this big smile on his face. Maybe he's on some kind of medication.
Things have always been really awful for Carl, but he's never really been depressed. I mean, I make 3 times as much money as him, and I'm totally miserable. Honestly, we all thought he would have killed himself by now, but he hasn't.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So, we've been talking about this Ethereum split. The folks over at Ethereum are, well, they're just not really happy with each other. They're just yelling and hollering. And it's just terrible. Major split, and they came up with this idea. They're like, you know what we're going to do is you've got this EIP 999 thing, and you got like a third of the people in the community support it. So I know that the whole thing was started by this glitchy ass this glitchy ass contract thing. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna write a glitchy ass contract, and we're gonna use that as how you vote, and then you send Ethereum to that glitchy ass contract. Who keeps the Ethereum?
It is 100% like that whole. We need to implement some two-factor authentication so that people can access their two-factor authentication, which will get them to access their two-factor authentication. It's just glitches within bad ideas within more bad ideas.
Yeah. Well, here's my question, though. You voted with Ethereum, right?
Which seems strange to me.
There were
I'm not sure
this
of
one
how.
self-destructing parody multi-sig wallet had 306,000 Ethereum in it that it voted with. So who gets to keep I want to run the vote machine.
Well, he didn't vote with 306,000 Ethereum. I mean, it sounds like a bit of a proof of stake kind of thing.
Well, no, what it was
in a
was,
way is that the person who has more of the currency has more weight and more pull to determine the direction of the currency. And I'm not sure that's really the way that they want it. I'm not sure that's the way any ordinary person would want their currency developing.
Well, now there's actually a subreddit that has brought up all the information. It's got the wallet addresses and everything. I'm sending that to you right now, Aria, so you can take a look at it. And the question, basically they're alleging that it was a self-destructing wallet, that it was fake, that the votes coming from this wallet are fake. And
well, this is clearly fake news.
Because of that, the vote itself is questionable.
What? I mean, do they have any legit reason to say that the vote is fake?
Well, that's what they're saying, is that if you follow the link, you see on the Ethereum chain that the wallet was a Polkadot multi-signal self-destructing wallet. And with Ethereum in it with a value of $198,000. Polkadot multi-sig. Somebody sent it money recently. 0.0000001
Okay, so
Ethereum.
what it's saying is that you cast this vote by. What the? Hold on. Okay, we'll carry it a moment, please.
Sure, yeah, not a problem. So now what we're seeing is that because of all of this has created this huge infighting that turned into basically a Twitter war with CoinDesk this morning, which is the reason why I even decided to cover it, was because, I mean, it turned into, like, you've seen the Bitcoin Cash people going at it with each other before. That's the way this looked. And now, I mean, as you see, if you go to the CoinDesk article that we're reading from here, it starts off with a disclaimer because of the reaction on Twitter being so absolutely insane. Says here, there were incentives to move forward without implementation, but there are more disincentives. For one, if a split on Ethereum occurs, it won't merely impact transaction, but also thousands of tokens and businesses built on top of the blockchain. Go ahead.
I wrapped my head around what's going on here. Okay, so the people who design the actual smart contracts are the ones who get to use the smart contracts to vote. But the people who actually use those smart contracts are having their wallets, not really their wallets, but their usage of those smart contracts voted upon by the people who programmed the contracts rather than the people who actually hold the Ethereum that acts upon those contracts. In an analogy term to make that more sensical to people, it's like saying that the company Ford gets to decide what happens with your vehicle because they're the ones who created the Ford that you're driving.
Oh, so basically what the whole situation is, Ford is trying to say that they get to pick who does your oil change, or whether you get an oil change at all, or whether or not you should pay to have a new engine put in.
Right, because they're the ones who created it, and it doesn't matter that you're the one using it. And let's not get there's really not much of an ownership aspect to this. I suppose there is, but the main issue is that it's because they're the developers. It's the opinions of the developers and the programmers that the Ethereum team clearly wants, and not the opinions of the users.
Yes, exactly. So basically, the people who are spending, it's like America. The people who
it's like the government saying,
decisions. It's the people
we're going to ask Ford and Chevy what kind of tires you want for your car. That's what it's like.
The Federal Reserve gets to decide what kind of a wallet you keep your money in. Basically.
It's a very stupid way of doing it.
It is. It's a very retarded way of doing things, it sounds like to me. Ugh. So, all right, well, now when we get back in a little while, there's more news. It's not just we've not just got, sky is falling, crybabies of Ethereum having Twitter wars with each other. Let's see here. Final word.
Are we starting a crypto drama of the week?
Right. Final word on this says, if a split occurs, we probably could create a crypto drama of the week to go along with our libertarian drama of the week. If a split occurs, it's likely that both Ethereum blockchains will lose value as the community splits into two groups. This means that the money lost will, as a result of the parity fund freeze, will decrease in value. Since there's so much locked ether that can amount to millions of dollars, Van de Sande said, then they might not be so incentivized to fork it. Yet that still doesn't eliminate the issue that hundreds of millions of dollars of ether are locked up, whereby users, including some high-profile ICO issuers, can use them. As such, Van de Sande is working on a method to refund the parity losses with the same amount of value as was lost. Instead, he's told CoinDesk, the question is how to give value to those tokens, and that's something I hope others will probably be writing more about. Okay, so when we get back here, we're going to be moving on. The original founder of...
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the call to freedom on LRN.FM. أنتم تستمعون إلى The Crypto Hour. يقدم إليكم برعاية Helium.com على برنامج نداء للحرية على LRN.FM.
What's up, Big Gunny? Let me tell you guys, Big Gunny. I am so excited. I am so happy. Let me tell you, I love.
All right. Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So, anytime we're going to talk about a scam, we always got to play the theme song for the, the most popular recent scam. And I hope that I have to say that, actually, I hope that I don't have to say, don't go out and buy BitConnect, please. Don't go buy BitConnect. It was a pump and dump scam. I mean, you can still buy the coins. You can still go to some exchanges and get the coins. Don't. And when we play these videos, like making fun of the guy that It's not an endorsement. Just so you, like, and I think it's kind of sad that we have to say that every time, just in case, because people are just really dumb. People are really dumb. Dumb, panicky animals. Yes. But anyway, since we're going to get into this next story, and it's all about it's a scam, I figure we'd, celebrate that with an actual scam. We've got here, this is from MSN Money. Their Market Watch by Sean Langelis. The title is...
Why don't they run stories from people who say the opposite?
I don't know. Okay, I'll say it. Bitcoin is a scam. Bitcoin has enjoyed a nice stretch lately, breaking through the 9,000 level on Tuesday and leading a broad advance.
I love how he says that like it's some rare thing.
Right.
Like, I'll have the balls to say what everyone is thinking that no one has ever had the guts to say before.
Right. Let's see. It's been on a $100 billion surge in market cap from 325 to $425 billion over the past week. So, Bill Harris, former CEO of both PayPal and Intuit, are you now warming up to the idea of Bitcoin as an investment? What was his answer? Well, quote, it's a colossal pump and dump scheme, the likes of which the world has never seen. The losers are ill-informed buyers caught up in a spiral of greed. The result is a massive transfer of wealth from ordinary families to internet promoters. Clearly, Harris, the founder of Personal Capital Corporation, who served as the CEO of both PayPal and Intuit. By the way, Intuit is the company that makes everyone's favorite income tax software. I completely forgot the name of it. TurboTax.
TurboTax.
Yeah. Clearly, the founder of TurboTax is not a fan, as he laid out the reasons why Tuesday in a piece for Recode. I'm tired of saying, be careful, it's speculative. And then be careful, it's gambling. And then be careful, it's a bubble. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Bitcoin is a scam. He went on to refute all the reasons promoters claim it has value. It's not a means of payment since it's accepted almost nowhere, he said. Bitcoin's extreme volatility against the U.S. dollar makes it undesirable as a store of value. And finally, he said its perceived value is merely an example of the greater fool theory. Cryptocurrency is best suited for one use: criminal activity, Harris said, pointing to the likes of Silk Road and WannaCry ransomware. That's what's more, even the regular users are flouting the law, he said, by avoiding paying taxes on every sale. All of this would be a comic sideshow if innocent people weren't at risk. But ordinary people are investing some of their life savings in this cryptocurrency. It's time we gave the SEC the legislative authority to do their job. Authoritarian much?
Yeah, he would say that.
For real, yo. You write software to help the federal government extort people. You are not a really good source on, I don't want your opinion on what's legitimate expenditures and legitimate takings of my money. You think government stealing my money at gunpoint is legitimate.
Yep, and he makes software that allows you to rob yourself and give it to the government. That it facilitates you. I mean, obviously there's some contradictions in the wording there, but people know what I'm trying to say.
So Wikiwea, I think, was trying to call in. If you want to jump into the little on-air call-in lineup here, it's better than trying to call us through private message. But we'd be happy to bring you on. I just, for somebody, and it just keeps coming back to this for me, for somebody that assists in the systematic theft of billions, trillions maybe, of dollars from the American public every single year, to have the audacity to point at someone else and their usage of a money, and because they're not paying taxes on transactions? Really?
It's a shame.
Right?
The guy who wants to sell you his software digitally, so that you don't have to pay state taxes. Wasn't PayPal very much against the implementation of sales tax on internet purchased goods? Hello?
So yeah, Aria, are you there?
I am here now.
Oh, we lost Aria for a second.
Yeah, what happened?
I was screening a call, and a good thing I did because it was an idiot prank calling. And then I lost you in the middle of me screening the call.
Awesome.
So I've got a flashing light behind my head that's like, hey. Anyway, so yeah, you've got this guy work with PayPal, help create PayPal. People thought PayPal in the beginning was a scam. Then now
they did. And Visa and MasterCard
attacked PayPal mercilessly.
And banking as a whole?
In the exact same way. Well, because he's a member of that crowd now. That's how it works, It's like black people that hate gays or hate Muslims. They're just happy to be in the crowd now. Now they get to have a torch and a pitchfork. They get to belong. And that's all this is he was at once, he was the target of the unruly, unreasonable, and ill-informed mob. And now he's older, so he gets to become a part of the mob. We see the same thing happening with PorcFest, People get a little older, they're 35, now they got kids, and all of a sudden, you got to put on a bra. Because somebody might get offended. Because all the things that we used to make fun of people for 5 years ago, we're suddenly clutching our pearls and offended by today. And it's the same exact principle. This guy was so outraged when the banksters were coming after him, but now that he's a part of that class, suddenly not so much, and Bitcoin should go, and competition is bad. And that's what it boils down to in the end. Competition is bad. Please, government, regulate my competitors out of business.
Well, yeah, because, cryptocurrency does a million times better what PayPal attempted to do.
And the banks as well. Exactly. All right, well, when we get back, we're going to be talking about Finland has scrapped their universal basic income only 14 months into their 2-year trial. When we get back.
If you're looking for work, you know the math. There are many more applicants than openings, so you need to stand out, not blend into the blah, blah, blah your interviewer is hearing from your competition. Here's a tip. In your interview, you will be judged more by the questions you ask than the answers you give. Yes, do anticipate the obvious job interview questions and prepare concise, insightful, glass-half-full sounding responses. And you should interview your interviewer. Seem genuinely curious about what will help get results. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. You want to cut through the clutter. For more tips for job seekers and making all the other conversations you have more productive, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,320 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,111. Antiwar.com reports South Korea has turned off its propaganda loudspeakers as a gesture of goodwill ahead of Friday's summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This is the first time in over 2 years that South Korea has shut off the loudspeakers aimed at North Korea. South Korea's giant wall of speakers broadcast news reports boasting of their prosperity, aiming it at both North Korean border troops and villages near the border. They occasionally play music or radio dramas, though the main point is to demoralize the other side. A spokesman told reporters the move was intended to ease military tensions ahead of Friday's summit and also to set a new tone. South Korean officials would not say if the loudspeakers would remain off after the summit. The expectation, though, was that the summit will include more discussions of a peace treaty, formally ending the Korean War, which is still officially ongoing since 1950. If a peace deal happens, there would clearly be no need to broadcast such messages across the border any longer. North Korea has its own loudspeakers on the other side of the border, mostly broadcasting criticism of South Korea. North Korea has not commented on what will happen with their loudspeakers. Indeed, given how much North Korea has toned down all other rhetoric, it is unclear at this point what those speakers have even been broadcasting. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that foreign corporations cannot be sued in U.S. courts for violation of international law. The 5-4 ruling is a loss for about 6,000 foreign victims of terrorist attacks in Israel and Gaza who accused Jordan-based Arab Bank of using its New York branch to distribute millions of dollars to terrorists and their families. While many victims had wanted to sue the bank in U.S. court, the Supreme Court on Tuesday disagreed with the legality of the prospect. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote in the court's lead opinion, "Courts are not well suited to make the required policy judgments that are implicated by corporate liability in cases like this one." Justice Sonia Sotomayor, writing for the dissenting group, argued that the ruling let companies benefit from their corporate status without having to shoulder fundamental responsibilities. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports monkeys lack standing to sue for copyright protection, and an animal rights group cannot act as legal guardians in such a matter, according to a U.S. appeals court ruling on Monday in a battle over ownership of a smiling selfie taken by an endangered macaw. The dispute stemmed from a famous image that Naruto, a rare crested macaw who lives in a nature reserve, snapped using a camera that British photographer David Slater left mounted and unattended during a 2011 trip. His grinning visage, which Slater published in a wildlife book, went viral and triggered the long-running legal battle over who had the copyright. The judges of the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals based in San Francisco said the panel held that the monkey lacks statutory standing because the Copyright Act does not expressly authorize animals to file copyright infringement suits. The court's opinion added that PETA was not a next friend of the monkey in a legal sense and failed to establish that it had a significant relationship with him. Jeff Kerr, general counsel for PETA, said in a statement, denying Naruto the right to sue under U.S. Copyright Act emphasizes that he is discriminated against simply because he's a non-human animal. PETA had argued that the monkey was the legal owner of all the photos he took, but a federal judge in San Francisco ruled in January 2016 that copyright laws do not apply to animals. Slater announced that he would donate 25% of future revenues from the photograph to charitable groups that protect Naruto and other members of his species in Indonesia. The case was brought in a U.S. court because Slater's book was available for sale in the United States. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This year's Coachella Music Festival is happening right now. And that means one thing: the largest gathering of contact jugglers in the world. All the biggest names from the sea juggling scene are performing all over the festival, including Mr. Tomorrow, Isis, White Angel, Chad Brunstein, and of course, the legendary Conundrum. Our own Lena Perez is live at Coachella.
This music festival is a who's who of org masters and jugglemen.
What have the highlights been so far?
Well, Yasu Kaitu did his first stateside performance in 3 years over by the Smoothie Tent, which was amazing. And there was festival favorite Hans Hansman freestyling in his usual spot near the portable toilets. But I'm really excited for Becca Flannery Miller. She's 4'5", wears transition lenses, and is a master of the multi-ball.
I love her. And I heard there was a surprise late night set from the Winterhorn Brothers.
Yeah, right outside the DJ tent. It was an unbelievable flurry of spearsmanship.
I wish I was there.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
And the French.
Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, well, it's time for the third hour of our broadcast tonight. I wanted to move on. Last night, if you were listening to Free Talk Live, they, Johnson and Mark and Ian had a conversation about universal basic income. So when I saw this come across my desk early this morning, around 8 o'clock when I first woke up and checked in to see what was going on in the news, I just had to cover it. Basically what's happened is Finland last year, 14 months ago, decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try a universal basic income. Now, it's going to be an abridged thing. This is a trial effort. So all of those people that should be getting it aren't going to get it. Just 2,000 of them. So the project involved giving 2,000 unemployed Finns roughly $690 a month. No taxes to be paid, no strings attached. While the experiment is still attracting attention internationally, the Finnish decision makers have decided 14 months into a 2-year trial, yeah, we ain't going to be doing this no more. Since the beginning
Shocking.
Right? Well, they figured out that it's expensive. And it costs money to give people free money every
you
month.
mean it's expensive to give people
Free
money,
money every month,
simply
yeah.
for existing,
Yeah.
even if those people aren't doing anything to generate money that you can use to pay people simply for existing? You mean those numbers don't add up?
Who would have thought? Since the beginning of last year, 2,000 Finns have been getting money from the government each month, and they're not expecting to do anything in return. The participants are ages 25 to 58 and are all unemployed and were selected at random by Kela, Finland's social security institution. Instead of unemployment benefits, the participants now receive a $690 a month tax-free benefit. Should they find a job during the 2-year trial, they will still get to keep the money. While the project has been praised internationally for being at the cutting edge of social welfare, well, back in Finland, decision makers are pulling the brakes and taking the project in a whole new direction. Quote, right now the government's making changes that are taking the system further away from a basic income. Miska Simoninen, I think. Simoninen. Simmer down now. Keller research. See, now I'm trying to say researcher told the Swedish newspaper Svenska Dagbladet. How did English come from this language? The initial plan was for the experiment to expand in early 2018 to include workers as well as people who aren't working. But that didn't happen, to the disappointment of researchers at Kela. Researchers say that without workers in the project, they're unable to study whether the so-called basic income would allow people to make new career moves or intertraining or education. 2 years is too short a time frame to be able to draw extensive conclusions from such a vast experiment. A professor, Olli Kangas, who's one of the experts behind the basic income trial, told Finland's public service broadcaster YLE, we ought to have been given additional time and more money to achieve reliable results. Because, that's the way all things work. I just throw some more money at me. Eventually I'll come up with something good. It's like if you put enough monkeys in a room flinging poo, eventually somewhere there'll be a Mona Lisa. So just keep pouring money in, and eventually we will find a way to use it in a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Reasonable fashion? Well, the best part, you've got Elon Musk and Chris Hughes, Ray Kurzweil. All of them have been advocating for this universal basic income, but now we're seeing it in Finland in action, and Finland's like one report I saw stated that for what they realized was that with current bureaucratic spending levels, it would require a increase in taxes across the board of 30%. 30% tax increase across the board in order to afford this.
And, you can only take that tax out of the productives.
And this is a country that's
checks,
already, the median base tax rate already is 51.6%.
So you're talking 81% taxes, which just incentivizes people to join
81%
that
taxes for the guy working at McDonald's on minimum wage. The minimum wage, the check he gets, the free money he gets from the government isn't taxed. But the paycheck that he gets from McDonald's is taxed at 81.6%. The guy who owns
so he quits and
the guy who
lives off the
owns the
UBI.
McDonald's franchise is going to be paying 92.2%. 92.2%. That's insanity. Why wouldn't everyone just move to Norway or anywhere?
Or just quit their jobs and live off the UBI.
You know what, man?
I mean, that's what they're incentivizing people to do. I mean, the income tax is a tax on work. It's a punishment for working. And you then go beyond that and you give obscene amounts of money to people simply for existing, and you get everything skewed. You end up with people going, wait a minute, I will get money for doing nothing, or I can go do something and have my money stolen from me to give to the people who are doing nothing.
Well, I think what it ends up being in the end is the government issues you your paycheck. Like, you work and your salary goes to the state, and then the government just issues you a check of whatever out of your salary that you earned it thinks that you deserve. This, like, when you want to talk about like the New World Order and like the evangelicals and all the stuff the crazy apocalyptic people in the Bible talk about, that's what they're talking about. The government being the one that decides whether or not you get it. Because as soon as it's 99% tax rates, 92% tax rates, where everything you make goes to the state and then they cut you a check and decide how much you get back, that's when the government that's when the government decides who gets to eat and who doesn't. That's when political dissidents get starved out of societies. That's what you're looking at here. That's the obvious next step for a society that's opened itself up to this. When a society says, you know what, the government should be the one who decides if and how much of a paycheck I get, it is a very, very small step to the government decides if and whether my family eats, has a place to sleep, clothes on their backs. Because if you can control whether or not a man gets a check, you literally can control his entire life.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Free Talk Live.
Most people, when it comes to what the government demands about their property, the zoning board or whatever department we're dealing with here that claims to have dominion over what you believe to be your property, most people just go along to get along because they understand that something nasty will happen if they don't. They understand that if they don't do what the people calling themselves government demand that they do, that eventually men with guns are going to come to their house, possibly just take it from them. And I think everybody inherently knows that there's a threat of violence behind what the government does. Oh, I know. You like to tell yourself stories about how it's the price of civilization to pay taxes. The price of civilization is zoning. It's the price of civilization to obey orders.
Well, don't forget the pig farm excuse.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If you didn't have zoning, somebody would open a pig farm right next door to you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
Disclaimer. When I die, I want to be put into orbit around Earth in a flying kick position. This is my dream. My dream. My dream. My dream. My dream. This is my dream.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we've been talking about, well, Finland is scrapping its universal basic income. But you would think that after this, they would have learned. But you know, those dumb socialists in Europe, they never do. So what happened? Well, they came up with, they finally figured out half the problem. You see, at current bureaucratic spending levels, these welfare systems are unsustainable. You got the unemployment. You've got, like here in the U.S., right? Okay, so you've got the Medicaid and Medicare, with each with their own bureaucracies. Then you've got the food stamp and EBT, each with its own federal and state bureaucracies. Same thing with the insurance, by the way. Then you've got unemployment, Social Security disability. These are all different and all with their own separate freestanding bureaucracies. So they figured out that all of this redundancy is expensive, okay? So they figured that part out. So now what they're going to do, the new idea is this new thing. It's called a universal basic credit. See, it's different. It's not a universal basic income. It's a universal basic credit. Now, the difference in the two is one check. See, with a universal basic income, you get your Medicaid check. Well, you get your Medicaid paid for, your insurance card. And then you get your food stamp check or card. Then you get, your each one of these bureaucracies issues you a payment, and universal basic income just created one more bureaucracy to send you a check. So what universal basic credit does that's going to fix the problem, air quotes around that fix, is they're going to consolidate all the redundancy in the welfare systems down to one office and one check. So the solution isn't to get rid of the check. It's to turn 9 agencies into one agency, and that all the money that you will save in a country that's built on the necessity of government workers to not have a massive unemployment program is to destroy 8 government agencies and add 8 government agencies worth of government workers to the welfare rolls to ask for the welfare that they'll now be giving with just one check. It's almost like they created this one problem and solved it by creating this other problem that created another new one.
It's like they used a glitchy smart contract to vote on whether or not to fix.
Right, it's like using a glitchy smart contract to vote on on whether or not we should fix glitchy smart contracts.
We need a bureaucracy to figure out whether or not we need a bureaucracy.
Well, no, that's what they did.
To decide the color that we're going to put on the new regulations book.
Right.
That will determine. It's retarded.
We need a committee to decide whether or not it's going to be a blue cover or a green cover on the next book that lists all of the IRS regulations. Yeah, right. Well, no, I mean, you got to. There are important decisions that need to be made that require redundancy. Like, are we going to use a plastic cover for the new notepads, or are we going to get the vinyl covered cloth? Because I mean, these are really, really, and should they be blue or green? And we need a committee. There needs to be 3, and we need all that paper. We need paperwork. We need it filled out in triplicate. And all of this stuff, it's almost like Finland finally realized that all of that crap is just a way for people to have a job that they're not really contributing anything. Like, you could take all the stuff that all these offices do and make one office do it and send one check and save billions of dollars. The only problem is that you have now a country in Finland that it's like Bernie Sanders last week was like, oh, I can fix the unemployment problem. All we gotta do is we'll create 500,000 government jobs. And then all the unqualified doofuses,
the rent's too damn high,
can come and work for the government. And then we won't have
oh my God.
There'll be no more unemployment.
Will, have you seen the recent things going around suggesting that, standards of hiring and asking for experience and the ability to actually do the job is discrimination?
Experience, it's discrimination. What is that? Ageism?
Can you do the job? That's discriminatory.
For real,
and that's what leads to this kind of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, you're discriminating against people who are lazy by letting them starve to death instead of taking their asses outside and doing, what a biological organism on the earth or in this universe is supposed to do, which is sustain itself.
Or let it starve.
Acquire nutrition for itself through some means. Like the freaking stray cats out there who are hunting birds and stuff. But no,
you can eat sparrows
we can't
and bugs.
ask that of humans. We have to, because they might feel bad if we call them lazy pieces of crap, and we can't have that.
But if you tell me about all the horrible things I'm doing and what they really are and how it really affects my life, then I'll never get better because it'll make me feel bad, and that will just demotivate me completely, bruh.
That's so true, people.
You have to enable my bad behavior until I learn that my bad behavior is bad through
I'm
no
on a
effort other than
spiritual quest.
for real, man. Like if you don't learn things by epiphany, then you're just learning through fascism, bro.
And
Anybody
I'm
teaches
an
you
indigo
anything,
child.
I am a purple pansexual penguin from Peru, and I am the king. So speak to me with the proper respect.
And you should like totally pay me.
We'll be back.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that, and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And what we've been talking about, Finland is going to give up the universal basic income because they've realized that cutting 9 welfare checks to one person is kind of expensive. So instead of getting rid of the welfare checks altogether, they're going to fire all the people at 8 agencies, combine them into one, and then give out one welfare check from that agency, but probably end up giving out as many checks as they were before because in Finland, there's not a lot of, businesses and not a lot of industry. So a lot of Finland's economy is built around government employment. So when you have a country that they've built their entire economy on socialism, when you gut 9 agencies or 8 agencies and completely destroy them and consolidate them into one, you create these massive unemployment problems. So, I mean, basically you see this like self-perpetuating failure within socialism. Like, oh, well, we created this and it created this problem, but to solve that societal problem that this created, we have to create this other societal problem that we had partially fixed over here. And then,
insanity,
that creates another problem over here. So, and it's like, there's like this video game that's out now, and it's 2 people, and you run around. There's like 8 little rooms with controls in them. And the game is the 2 of you nonstop running from room to room to change the different controls to try to micromanage in order to take this gigantic planet-sized spaceship through a maze without bumping into the walls. It's like it's maddening. It will end friendships. I do not encourage you to buy it.
It reminds me of when I switched to a different brand of shampoo a year or 2 ago. Well, I tried it briefly, and it left my hair really, really jacked up. And I remarked about this to someone, and about how all of the methyl isothiazolinone and crap in it had damaged my hair. Their solution was not to stop using the shampoo or to stop using these chemicals in it, but was instead to use this leave-in conditioner that would fix the damage caused by the first set of chemicals.
Yeah. It's like medicine, like, so you got
I'm sorry this medicine gave you a leaky colon.
Yeah.
Take this thing for your leaky colon, and it will give you...
it will make you dehydrated. Now you have to take this for being dehydrated. Oh, well, that could possibly make you suicidal and insane. Oh, you just shot up a movie theater. All because you had a runny. all because you originally had a runny nose. It's like, Doc, I got a runny nose. Well, take this. It's going to give you a runny ass. Well, I don't want to have a runny ass. Okay, well, here, take this. This will fix the runny ass, but it'll dehydrate you. Well, I don't want to, but I don't want to be dehydrated. Well, then take this other pill and it'll make you psychotic. I'd rather just have the runny nose. You could have just walked around with a hanky. Instead, you shut up a movie theater. So, speaking of...
that's Finland.
Right. And speaking of retarded, unnecessary threats that could cause major problems, the next story that we're covering is, the possibility of World War III. Israel has warned of an attack if Russia air defenses used in Syria. Now, you've heard many times we've brought stories to you where Israel has ran sorties. They've gone into they've gone into Syrian airspace without the permission of Syria and commenced bombings, sometimes harming civilian targets. Well, Russia has said, this is our ally, and we don't want the United States or Israel dropping bombs and killing civilians here, so if we see your planes, we're going to shoot.
Where was the wedding that we blew up?
That was in Yemen.
Okay. So that was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Well, it was our bombs and our drone base. Just
naturally. Yeah, but we made like
$500
million for it.
Yeah, they paid us for it. Anyway, says here that Israel's defense minister Avigdor Lieberman has said Tuesday that his country will attack Russian S-300 air defense systems in Syria if they're used against Israeli targets. His remarks come a day after the Russian newspaper Kommersant reported that Moscow could soon start to deliver S-300 systems to its ally in Damascus, and cited a source as a warning of catastrophic consequences if they were attacked. What's important to us is that the defensive weapons the Russians are giving Syria won't be used against us, Lieberman told the news website Ynet. If they're used against us, we'll act against them. Well, if you're not flying over Damascus with your warplanes, it's kind of like a logical two-step thing here, like you don't fly your warplanes that drop bombs over my city, I won't shoot at your airplane. What an idea. I mean, I know it's just so simple that it's crazy. But
well, the idea of us not being at war has become crazy.
You don't fly your multi-billion-dollar military airplane that is totally armed to the teeth with Hellfire missiles and 40 caliber machine guns and all this kind of stuff. If you don't fly that over my city, I won't use my big gun to shoot at your airplane. I don't understand why this is such a complicated thing for people to wrap their heads around. You don't fly your warplane over my town, I won't shoot my gun at your plane. Like, I could explain this to my 2-year-old. It's like, honey, don't touch the stove.
Yeah, but your 2-year-old isn't a warmongering psychopath.
No, honey, don't touch the stove. No, sweetheart. If you touch the stove, it will burn your hand. Yeah, if you don't touch the stove, you won't get burned. It's literally that simple. Now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said earlier this month that no decision had yet been taken on the S-300 missiles. The Russians have deployed the S-300 around their own Tartus naval base on Syria's Mediterranean coast and the more advanced S-400 at their Hamim air base in western Syria. We have an open line. We really do have discourse with the Russians, said Lieberman, noting that their systems had never been used against Israel. For several years, we've been constantly in coordination and able to avoid friction with the Russians. Israel and Syria.
Just saying, anytime we say discourse in the future, we should just go ahead and change it to discord,
right,
in honor of James.
Right. Oh, Lord.
And I mean, in so many of these cases, it's more accurate because, Russia and Israel do have discord,
right,
rather than discourse.
Well, Israel and Syria are still officially at war since 1967, though they are currently in an armistice with a line on the sector of the Golan Heights, which the Jewish state seized in 1967, and they were able to broker a very uneasy peace by returning it in 2011. All right, well, we'll be back with a little bit more when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell, they send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And you know what that sound you just heard means? it's time for a little bit of cannabis news. Every so often, we like to devote the last segment of the show to what's going on in the world of medical cannabis, recreational cannabis, what's going on in the legal world, the latest business developments and things. And we've got two stories I want to touch on here. The first one, well, you know what? I find this kind of funny. This coming from The Independent, about an hour ago, actually. Scientists have developed a prototype for an app that's been designed for cannabis users so that they can determine whether or not they're actually high. The app, called Am I Stoned?, has been created by researchers from the University of Chicago to assess...
Who were stoned when they came up with the idea.
Right. To assess the effects of cannabis on cognitive abilities. Co-authors Elisa Pabon, a doctoral student, and Harriet DeWitt, a professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Neuroscience, presented the app yesterday at the Emerging Biology Conference in California. The app, which has been supported by the National Institute on Drug Abuse grant, provides users with a series of tasks to test the impact of cannabis use on memory, reaction time, and attention span. Pabon and DeWitt decided to try the app out on people who regularly use cannabis in order to examine its impact in a, quote, non-laboratory setting. They had volunteers take a pill containing either 0, 7.5, or 15 milligrams of THC, which is the main really 7.5 or 50. The cookies that you buy at a medical cannabis shop have like 170 milligrams of THC in them. Why would you give someone a 15 milligram THC pill? That's microdosing, like to the point that you wouldn't even you wouldn't even know that you took it. You would have to be a straight non-cannabis user.
Raw THC?
Yeah, it's decarboxylated THC and THCA. It's activated THC, just like these pills should be if they want to actually get some kind of a testable a reaction to them. It says after 2 or 3 hours, participants took part in a series of tasks, both on a computer and on an iPhone. One of the tasks on the iPhone involved tapping 2 dots as fast as possible with fingers on the non-dominant hand for 20 seconds, something I don't do very well anyway. Pabon and DeWitt found that the performance of individuals who had consumed the pills, it was impaired for 3 out of 4 of the computer tasks and 1 of the iPhone tasks. Researchers have stated that further research is needed so that they can make alterations to the app. The tasks included in the application need to be optimized in a way that avoids floor or ceiling effects, practice effects, and baseline variations, says Pabon told Gizmodo. Additionally, the tasks should be short and efficient, but also long enough to be effective at catching drug effects.
I mean, soon we'll be pulling over at roadblocks and cops will be whipping out this app and making people do it.
Yeah, they'll be stopping you on the side of the road and gonna whip their phone out. Here, I need you to take this Am I Stoned test on my phone app.
Actually, they have cotton swab things that they can use to find out.
Yeah, but those cotton swab things will tell you if I smoked a joint 3 weeks ago. I mean, it's literally just testing.
I mean, you're still guilty.
Does your system have THC in it? And I could wake up and medicate in the morning because, like, when I wake, because that's the worst time of the day for me. I get up in the morning and I medicate because, like, I can literally barely physically move and get out of my bed, and then I get pulled over at 4:00 in the afternoon. 9 hours later, guess what? I am sober as a deacon. But that swab's not going to tell you that. That swab's going to tell you I have consumed cannabis at some time in the last 30 days.
Yeah, but see, that's how they want it because they're not looking for safe drivers. They're looking for
revenues,
a paycheck,
Yep.
revenues.
It's all about making that money, honey. Speaking of making money, honey, well, I've got Daryl sitting here. I just want to ask him, whatever happened, there's an effort here to prevent this kind of thing where they stop you and use you as an opportunity to collect a paycheck. Whatever happened with the bill to make it illegal for the cops to set up roadblocks?
Oh, the anti-DUI checkpoint bill, that wound up getting killed in the Senate last week by a vote of 15-7 with about, I believe it was half of the Republicans voting to kill the bill. All of the Democrats except for one that voted to kill the bill.
So the Democrats, all of them but one.
There were 2 Democrats that were not there or otherwise
abstained.
Did not vote. Well, you can't abstain. So they either weren't there or they walked out to not vote. But the rules in New Hampshire's legislature is if you are present on the floor when the vote happens, you must vote. So there were 2 that did not vote. I don't know if they just missed the session day or if they, just conveniently had to go poop.
Didn't want to make their constituency angry, but didn't want to make their donors in the sheriff's union angry either.
But yeah, it wound up failing largely because of, surprise, surprise, the Democrats that supposedly believe in civil liberties.
Well, I was saying...
Daryl, I didn't know you made jokes.
I was saying the other day on Twitter, it's like, you know what? You remember when you remember that couple years when people thought the Democrats were anti-war?
During the Bush administration.
That was an amusing time to live, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just like, there were a couple of years when Republicans in Congress actually wound up passing balanced budgets.
That was when Clinton was in office.
Yeah.
Or you remember a couple of years ago when we shut the government down because we didn't want a $1.3 billion budget?
I never shut the government down, but if
Trump
I did, I would have shut it down forever.
Exactly. I mean, I was
not
throwing
this
a party.
Not this phony shutdown of we're going to put up fences on sidewalks that have never had fences around them before, and then pay somebody to stand there to tell you that you can't walk on this sidewalk. Because this is a federal sidewalk, and the federal government shut down, and that means you can't walk on this federal sidewalk now.
Right. We can't afford for this to be open, but we can't afford to pay this guy who didn't used to stand here to stand here.
Correct, because he's an essential employee.
What are the 2 of you talking about? Did this happen?
The federal government
supposed shutdown where they set up
it happened
basically barricades.
It happened where I lived in Tennessee.
But also the Washington Mall in D.C., where it's just a sidewalk. They put up barricades and then paid park rangers to stand there to tell people you can't walk through the National Mall because this is a federal sidewalk and the federal government is shut down.
Maybe they need an app to tell if they're stoned.
That is the very definition of terrorism.
I think that whoever came up with that idea, he should have to take the Am I Stoned app test.
But
he knew what he was doing. He was saying, you need the government.
Right, but this whole shutdown thing, it winds up costing more to shut down the government.
It does.
Than it costs to keep it open.
Yeah, because you install new fences and pay guys to stand. There's literally never anyone at Cades Cove. It's completely free. And Cades Cove had a guy standing there that was keeping people out of Cades Cove at a park that's completely free and never has anybody there.
And then all of the people that are furloughed, they wind up getting back pay when they go back to work.
Exactly. So it doesn't change anything. Anyway, if you need an app, if you need an app to tell you if you're stoned,
you probably are.
You're really, really stoned. Anyway, we're out of here for now. We'll be back tomorrow as always, but don't go anywhere because Free Talk Live is coming up next.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.54 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,320 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,111. Antiwar.com reports South Korea has turned off its propaganda loudspeakers as a gesture of goodwill ahead of Friday's summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This is the first time in over 2 years that South Korea has shut off the loudspeakers aimed at North Korea. South Korea's giant wall of speakers broadcast news reports boasting of their prosperity, aiming it at both North Korean border troops and villages near the border. They occasionally play music or radio dramas, though the main point is to demoralize the other side. A spokesman told reporters the move was intended to ease military tensions ahead of Friday's summit and also to set a new tone. South Korean officials would not say if the loudspeakers would remain off after the summit. The expectation, though, was that the summit will include more discussions of a peace treaty, formally ending the Korean War, which is still officially ongoing since 1950. If a peace deal happens, there would clearly be no need to broadcast such messages across the border any longer. North Korea has its own loudspeakers on the other side of the border, mostly broadcasting criticism of South Korea. North Korea has not commented on what will happen with their loudspeakers. Indeed, given how much North Korea has toned down all other rhetoric, it is unclear at this point what those speakers have even been broadcasting.